Rain poured hard from the sky, soaking the streets and turning everything grey. Jenna sat outside the clinic in a wheelchair, shivering and holding a small white bag filled with her pain medication. Her stomach ached from the surgery she had just gone through. It was supposed to be a quick, outpatient procedure, but she still felt weak and dizzy. She looked at her phone again. No new messages, no missed calls. Travis had promised he'd pick her up. He told her he'd be waiting right outside, that she wouldn't have to worry. But now, as cold water soaked her jacket and her body trembled from pain and cold, all her calls went straight to voicemail. Her fingers shook as she opened the Uber app. She didn't want to do this alone, not after what she'd been through, not today. But she couldn't wait anymore. Her cheeks burned, not just from the feverish pain, but from the humiliation. 20 minutes later, she sat in the back seat of a car, her breath fogging up the window. The driver said nothing, which she was thankful for. Jenna stared outside, watching the raindrops race down the glass. She tried to focus on the pain, to distract herself from the growing thought in her head. This wasn't the first time Travis had let her down. There had been small moments, missed dinners, ignored messages, cold silences, times when she made excuses for him. He was busy, he was tired, he had a lot on his mind. But now, he knew she had surgery. He promised he would come, and still, nothing. By the time she reached their apartment, her whole body ached. She fumbled with her keys, her hands numb and wet. When she finally stepped inside, the warmth hit her all at once. But something else hit her too: confusion. The lights were on. On the living room table sat a wine glass. It was half full of red wine, but it wasn't hers. She hadn't used a glass like that in weeks. And then she saw it. A faint mark of lipstick on the rim. Her heart thudded in her chest. She barely had time to process it before she heard something else. A voice. A woman's voice. Humming. Coming from the bathroom. The shower was running. Jenna didn't move. She just stood there, frozen. The pain in her body fading into something colder. Something sharper. She wasn't alone. Jenna sat on the edge of the couch, still in pain from the surgery, but her mind wasn't on her body anymore. Her eyes were on the wine glass, and her ears still rang with the sound of that woman's voice in the shower. Everything around her suddenly felt like a stranger's home. The warm lamplight, the soft rug, even the photo of her and Travis on the wall, smiling on the beach, looked fake now. Her hands gripped her knees. She took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. She wasn't ready to scream or cry. Not yet. First, she needed to think. Jenna was 28, a graphic designer who worked from home most days. She had built a quiet life, one that felt safe. That's what she always wanted, safety. After losing her mom at 14 and bouncing from one foster home to another, she had learned that nothing in life stayed. People left, things changed. So when she met Travis 4 years ago, she thought she had finally found something solid. Travis was everything she wasn't: confident, smooth, from a rich family that had dinner parties and sent holiday cards. He sold expensive homes to important people and always knew what to say. Jenna remembered the first time he called her his anchor, said she kept him grounded. It made her feel special, needed, loved. She had fallen hard for him, and fast. But looking back, maybe she hadn't seen everything clearly. Travis gave her just enough attention to make her feel wanted, but only when it suited him. He praised her when she agreed with him, when she stayed quiet. But when she brought up her needs or showed emotion, he would pull away. He would go cold, say she was being too sensitive or dramatic. At first, she thought she was the problem. Maybe she was too emotional, too needy. She had learned early on not to ask for too much. In the foster system, if you complained, you were moved to another home. If you cried, people got tired of you. So Jenna had trained herself to smile, stay calm, not rock the boat. That's how she survived. And maybe that's why Travis chose her. He liked control, but not in a loud, obvious way. He never yelled or hit. No, Travis was polite. He'd say things like, "Are you sure you want to wear that?" Or, "You know how you get when you're upset. Maybe we talk later." At first, those seemed like caring comments. Now they felt like little traps. Jenna's best friend, Nia, had never liked him. Nia was a nurse, sharp, kind, and fiercely protective. She had seen the little signs before Jenna did. "He doesn't respect you," Nia once said, after Travis ignored Jenna through an entire dinner party. But Jenna had brushed it off. "He's just stressed," she told Nia. "He's trying to build his business." Nia had rolled her eyes. "He's not building a house, Jenna. He's building a cage." But Jenna didn't listen, because deep down, she was scared. Travis had become her world. He gave her stability, or at least the idea of it. He had a nice apartment, a good job, and a family name that opened doors. When he proposed last year, Jenna cried, not just from happiness, but from relief. She thought it meant she was finally safe, chosen, loved. Now that dream was cracking. The wedding was in 2 months. Most of the planning had fallen on her. Travis was always too busy. He said he trusted her to handle it, and she took that as a compliment. But looking back, it was just another way he made her carry the weight. She had picked the venue, the dress, the guest list, even managed the budget. Travis barely showed up to meetings. He told her, just do whatever you think is best. But whenever she asked his opinion, he acted annoyed, like she was bothering him. She thought he was just tired. Now she wondered if he just didn't care. And today, after surgery, he didn't even show up. Jenna's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't let them fall. She wiped her face with her sleeve and looked around the apartment. Everything in this place had once felt like a piece of their life together. Now, it all felt like a lie. The throw pillows she picked out, the bookshelf they built together, the ring on her finger. She slowly stood up, holding her stomach, and walked to the bedroom. It smelled like someone had sprayed perfume, not hers. A soft floral scent that didn't belong. She sat down on the edge of the bed and texted Nia. I think something's really wrong. Can you call me? She hit send, then looked back at the wine glass. A woman's lipstick, a woman in the shower, in her home. The truth started to take shape in her mind, cold and sharp. Travis hadn't just forgotten her. He had replaced her. But Jenna wasn't going to fall apart. Not yet. She had been through worse. She had survived alone before. If she had to do it again, she would. Only this time, she wasn't going to be quiet. She wasn't going to be easy to control. And she wasn't going to let him get away with it. The humming stopped. Jenna stood frozen in the hallway, her heart pounding in her chest. The sound of running water shut off. The bathroom door creaked open. A young woman stepped out, wrapped in a towel, her hair wet and long. She froze when she saw Jenna. Oh, the woman said, startled. I thought you were gone till evening. Jenna didn't answer. She couldn't. Her mouth felt dry, and her legs were still aching from the surgery. But none of that mattered now. All she could do was stare. The woman gave an awkward smile. You must be Jenna. Travis told me about you. Jenna blinked. Told you what? That you were his friend, the one going through some stuff. He said you were staying here for a bit, until things got better. Jenna couldn't believe what she was hearing. Her ears buzzed and her vision blurred for a second. She gripped the wall to steady herself. He said you were just crashing here. That's why I've been... The woman motioned around the apartment. You know, staying over sometimes. Jenna tried to speak, but nothing came out. She pulled out her phone with shaking hands, opened the voice recorder, and quietly hit record. Her thumb trembled. What's your name? Jenna asked, barely able to keep her voice calm. Alyssa, the woman said, still standing there like everything was normal. I've been seeing Travis for a couple of months now. I thought he lived alone. He said you were just a friend going through a rough time. Jenna couldn't feel her body anymore. Her chest was tight. Her skin felt cold, like she was floating outside of herself. She nodded slowly and kept recording. Alyssa continued, still unaware. I'm sorry if this is weird. I wouldn't have stayed here if I knew. He said you weren't going to be back today. Jenna ended the recording. She didn't yell. She didn't scream. She just turned away and went into the bedroom, her mind spinning. Alyssa stood in the hallway, confused and uncomfortable. Later that night, after Alyssa had left, still unsure of what had just happened, Jenna waited on the couch in silence. Her pain meds had worn off. The ache in her stomach had returned, but she ignored it. She didn't want to sleep. She didn't want to cry. She just wanted answers. The front door opened after 11 p.m. Travis walked in, casual, like nothing had happened. He took off his coat and gave her a quick glance. You're up late, he said. Jenna stared at him. Alyssa was here. Travis stopped in his tracks. His face froze for a second. Then he laughed lightly, like it was no big deal. She wasn't supposed to be. Jenna's voice was calm, but cold. She thought I was your roommate, that I was just staying here for a while. Travis ran a hand through his hair. Look, I didn't think you'd be back so early. You're emotional. You just had surgery. This isn't the time to talk about things like this. This isn't the time, she repeated, trying to keep her hands steady. You're overthinking everything, he said. You always do this when you're upset. It's the stress, the pain meds. You're not seeing things clearly. Jenna stood up slowly, every muscle in her body hurting, but her voice stayed even. You lied to her. You lied to me. Travis stepped closer, keeping his voice soft, like he was talking to a child. You're not well, Jenna. You're letting your emotions get the best of you. And there it was, gaslighting. Again. Her eyes narrowed. I recorded what she said. That made him pause. For a split second, something flashed in his eyes. Then he covered it with a fake smile. You're seriously recording people now. You know how that makes you look, right? I don't care how it looks, Jenna said. You're being paranoid, Travis said, louder now. You've always been like this, always making drama where there isn't any. Jenna didn't reply. She just looked at him, and for the first time, she didn't feel small. She wanted to scream. She wanted to throw something, but she didn't. Not yet, because now she needed to know everything. How long had it been going on? How many other lies were there? This wasn't just a mistake. This was a pattern, a web of lies that he had carefully built piece by piece. And now she was caught in it, but not for long. She wouldn't leave that night. Not until she knew how deep it all went. Not until she had the full truth. She went to bed in silence, lying beside him without touching him, staring at the ceiling. She was done being the quiet one. She was done believing his words. From now on, she would trust only one thing: proof. Jenna woke up the next morning with her body aching and her heart even heavier. Travis was already gone. No note, no text, just silence. She sat up slowly, her hand on her stomach, but the real pain was inside her chest. The memory of Alyssa in the towel wouldn't leave her mind. And the way Travis looked at her last night, calm, smug, like she was the problem, it made her stomach twist. She couldn't go on like this, not without knowing the full truth. So she started looking. When Travis left his laptop open one evening, she saw a chance. He had gone to shower, and Jenna's hands moved fast, her heart pounding in her ears. She clicked through his email, his messages, his calendar. At first, it was just small things, flirty messages with other women, dinner reservations he had lied about, cancelled meetings that weren't cancelled. But then she found something worse: bank statements. He had created a second account, a private one. She saw transfers from their joint savings going there, thousands of dollars, little by little, over months. He had said the money was going toward the wedding, but he had been stealing it. Jenna sat there, stunned, her fingers numb on the keyboard. This wasn't just betrayal, it was theft. And then, just like that, she lost access. The next day, all the passwords were changed: the bank account, the email, even the calendar app they shared for wedding planning. She asked Travis about it, pretending she was confused. He smiled and said, I thought it was safer this way. You've been forgetful lately. Forgetful. That's how he talked now, like she was unstable. He started planting little seeds with their friends too, telling them Jenna had been acting off since the surgery, that she was emotional, suspicious, even paranoid. Some of their mutual friends stopped texting back. One friend even asked if Jenna was okay, like she was sick in the head. Jenna felt like she was losing everything, but she wasn't ready to give up. She still had Nia. Nia came over one night with Chinese food and quiet eyes. Jenna finally told her everything, about Alyssa, the fake story Travis told, the stolen money, the lies. Nia didn't look surprised. I always knew something was off, she said, but I didn't know it was this deep. I feel stupid, Jenna whispered. How did I not see it? Nia reached over and took her hand. You wanted to believe in love. That doesn't make you stupid. That makes you human. They sat in silence for a while. Then Nia said, you need to talk to someone who's been through this. That's how Jenna ended up meeting Claire. Claire was Travis's ex-fiancé. Nia found her on social media and reached out quietly. They met at a cafe across town where no one would see them. Claire looked tired, but kind. She listened as Jenna spoke, and then she nodded slowly. He did the same thing to me, Claire said. At first, he was perfect, charming. He made me feel lucky, like I didn't deserve him. Then he started taking money, saying it was for us. He isolated me, told people I was too emotional. When I finally left, I had nothing. No friends, no savings. Jenna stared at her, her heart sinking. I was the first, Claire said softly, but I don't think I was the last. Jenna walked home in silence that day, her thoughts heavy. Claire's words echoed in her head. All this time she thought she was alone, but she wasn't the first. Travis had done this before. He had a pattern, and she had fallen into it, just like the others. Back home, she stood in front of the mirror and looked at herself. She didn't recognize the woman staring back, pale, quiet, always second-guessing herself. She thought of all the times she had stayed silent, all the times she had let Travis decide how she felt, who she could trust, what she was worth. She felt ashamed, but more than that, she felt angry. "I let him do this to me," she whispered, "but not anymore." She called Nia. "I need to start collecting everything," she said. "Every email, every text, every receipt. Not just for me, for the other women too. If I can build a case, maybe he won't do this again." Nia didn't hesitate. "I'm with you. Let's bring him down, piece by piece." That night, Jenna sat at her desk with a notebook and a new flash drive. She started writing down dates, names, screenshots. Quietly, carefully, she backed up everything. Emails, bank records, text messages, voice notes. She wasn't ready to walk away just yet. Not because she still loved him, but because she wanted the truth. And this time, she wasn't going to let anyone rewrite her story, especially not Travis. Jenna smiled more than usual. She laughed at Travis's jokes. She held his hand, let him kiss her cheek, even said "I love you" back when he whispered it. She didn't mean a single word, but Travis didn't know that. He thought things were getting better. He told her they needed a fresh start, so he invited her to his family's estate for the weekend. It was a large house in the countryside, quiet and beautiful, with a big garden and long windows. He wanted to show her off again, like nothing had ever happened. Jenna agreed. She packed her bag, wore her best clothes, and acted sweet. But inside, her heart was calm and focused. She wasn't going to let her emotions get in the way now. She had a plan. At the estate, Jenna waited until Travis fell asleep. She stayed up in the guest room with her laptop, quietly typing. She had learned a few tricks from Naya's tech friend. With a few tries, she hacked into Travis's email, and there it was. A folder named Alyssa Wedding. Her hands froze on the keyboard. Her breath caught in her throat. She clicked it open and saw everything. Venue reservations, cake orders, ring sizing. He had a second engagement happening behind her back. He had promised forever to 2 women at the same time. Jenna felt sick, but she didn't cry. She saved everything, every file, every email, every detail. And then she got to work on the slideshow. She made it look like a sweet announcement dinner. Travis was excited. He helped pick the menu, told his parents it was something big. He invited his family, a few friends, and even Alyssa, saying it would be a fun surprise. They all sat around the long dining table under golden lights. Glasses clinked, food was served. Then Jenna stood up. "I'd like to share something special with all of you," she said, her voice clear. She turned on the screen behind her. The room quieted. The first slide was a photo of her and Travis smiling. The second slide was another photo, this time of Travis and Alyssa, holding hands, looking cozy at a dinner Jenna had never been invited to. Gasps filled the room. Slide after slide followed. Emails, messages, bank transfers, double bookings, lies. One slide showed both engagement rings, dated just 2 weeks apart. Then came a voice recording. Alyssa saying, "He told me Jenna was just a friend crashing for a while." Alyssa, seated at the table, went pale. "What?" she whispered, turning to Travis. He looked frozen. "Jenna," he said, standing up. "Stop this." But she didn't stop. The last slide read, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them." Silence filled the room. Then Travis's father stood up. His face was red with anger. "You lied to everyone," he said to his son. "You used her. You've embarrassed this family." Travis tried to explain, but no one was listening. Alyssa got up and ran out in tears. Friends looked away. No one stood by him. He turned to Jenna. "You ruined everything." She looked at him with calm eyes. "You did that all by yourself. I'll make you pay for this," he snapped. But Jenna was ready. "I've already filed legal papers," she said. "The bank accounts are locked, the money's being tracked, and I have more than enough proof." She picked up her bag and walked out of the room, her back straight, her heart steady. Travis shouted something behind her, but she didn't turn around. She didn't need to. She had everything she needed, the truth, the proof, and her freedom. The new apartment was quiet and small, but it felt like peace. The first night there, she didn't cry. She didn't look back. She simply sat on the floor, surrounded by unopened boxes, and let the silence wrap around her like a warm blanket. No shouting, no lies, just space that belonged only to her. With help from her best friend, a cozy design studio came to life above a local bookstore. The walls were painted soft colors, and little plants sat on the windowsills. It wasn't perfect, but it was hers, her dream, her work, her name on the door. Clients started showing up, slow at first, but word spread. People liked her eye for detail, her calm presence, and her ability to bring stories to life through art. And then, one story reached even further. It began with a simple online post, not dramatic, just honest. A single sentence that came straight from the heart. He didn't pick me up after surgery, so I picked up my life instead. The response was more than she ever expected. Strangers started commenting. Some shared their own pain. Others simply wrote thank you. Then the stories began flooding in. Women from all over writing about the moment they chose to walk away, to start again, to stop waiting for someone to save them. A hashtag appeared. I picked me. It went viral. Not because it was flashy or loud, but because it was true. It was quiet strength, the kind people carried in their bones. In court, she faced him again, but this time, she wasn't scared. The judge saw the truth. She won control over the money he tried to hide. His attempts to twist the story didn't work anymore. People saw who he really was. His charm couldn't protect him now. She didn't need revenge. She just needed freedom, and she got it. Later, during one of the legal meetings, a lawyer with kind eyes and a gentle voice started staying a little longer. He didn't ask personal questions unless invited. He didn't offer empty compliments. He just listened. Coffee turned into quiet talks. Talks turned into slow walks. He never rushed her, never asked for more than she was ready to give. With him, she felt calm, not small, seen, not judged. But love wasn't her goal, not now. This time, she was choosing slowly, carefully, and for herself. Healing looked different each day. Some mornings were strong and steady. Others were soft and slow. But through it all, she moved forward. The past no longer held her. She had her own place, her own work, her own voice, and people who believed in her because she had dared to believe in herself. No ring on her finger, just a simple silver band on her right hand, a quiet promise. I picked me, and that was more than enough. The sun was low in the sky as she walked through the quiet cemetery. Birds chirped softly in the trees, and the wind moved gently through the leaves. She held a small bouquet of white flowers in her hand. Her steps were slow but steady as she made her way to the same spot she had visited for years. She knelt by the stone, brushing off a few leaves. The name carved there still made her chest tighten. It had been so long, but the pain hadn't fully gone. It had just changed shape. She placed the flowers down carefully. I thought love meant someone saving me, she said softly. But it's not. Her voice didn't shake. She wasn't crying. She just spoke the truth, the kind that had taken her years to learn. It's me. I saved myself. She sat there in silence for a while, letting the words settle into the earth. A silver ring glinted on her right hand as the sunlight caught it, simple and smooth. It wasn't fancy or expensive, but it meant everything to her. It was her promise to herself. She didn't need someone to fix her. She didn't need someone to complete her. She was whole already. She thought about the past, the pain, the lies, the heartbreak, and then she let it go. Not all at once, but enough to breathe easier. Standing up, she looked at the sky, then back at the stone. I think you'd be proud, she whispered with a small smile. She touched the ring once more, then turned and walked away, feeling lighter with every step. Sometimes, the worst betrayal is the one that sets you free. Thanks for watching. If this story meant something to you, be sure to like, share, and comment your thoughts below. Your voice matters. Subscribe to the channel for more powerful stories about healing, growth, and self-worth.